So
You can switch them if you want. No.
would you rather we do this one first?
Yep.
I think.
100%. Do it.
No.
We're going to switch the
Rob's
students with the vaccinations, so we're not a downer before the kids
Oh,
get
good.
there.
Yeah, that's a good choice.
Yeah.
All right.
Besides, they put me up.
Right.
Absolutely. Rob?
Good. Hope I turn that on. I now call this regular meeting of the Davenport Community School Board of Directors to order. Director Potts, would you please read board priorities?
Yes, Mr. President. The Davenport School Board establishes the following priorities to ensure the academic success of all students. Provide leadership and direction to improve the overall learning environment in our classrooms, schools, and districts, including the health, safety, security, and happiness of students and staff. Direct and support actions, programs, and activities which reduce the impacts of poverty on our students, their families, and our community.
Thank you, Director Potts. Director Klein Jerome, would you please read the mission and vision statements?
Mission statement: enhance each student's abilities by providing a quality education enriched by our diverse community. Vision statement: education that challenges conventional thinking, prepares all students to compete in a global society, and inspires our students, parents, staff, and community to answer the question, what if?
Thank you, Director Klein Jerome. I'm going to switch up the presentations, and we are going to do the All-State Musicians and Co-Ed First Place Division I rated dance team first, and then we will do the COVID stuff after that. I'll hand it over to the superintendent.
So the times that we're in can be very trying right now, particularly with everything that's going on. And so no better place to look for hope than inside of the walls of our own schools and at our students and looking at the wonderful things that they have accomplished and that they're capable of. And so tonight we wanted to celebrate, share some of the things that are going on. And I know that our board particularly likes to have a positive ray of sunlight. So what a better way to do that? I've asked Associate Superintendent Rob Scott to give us a presentation and basically a presentation of our students and staff of what's going on inside of our district. So take it away, Rob.
All right. Well, again, I appreciate the opportunity to celebrate our students. Got quite a few names to get through tonight because we've got a accumulation of a long year for awards, and we probably are actually going to have more names coming at us later in the year. But I want to start out with, and I'm going to have a few of the students come up later, but I'm going to get through the names first, and then we'll have, so you guys could maybe talk to the students or find out a little bit more about the third year All-Staters. And so first of all, at Central, I'm going to start with their band. And again, the All-State selections, if you really think of it from qualifying, is like that's the, if there was a national competition, they would qualify to go to the national competition. And they're not, but that's really at the level that they've gotten to. They're the best of the best. And over the last 5 years, we've had 132 All-Staters in the district. And so it kind of did, it was something that's it's a great tradition for our program. And again, some you're going to hear about tonight. So in band at Central, we had Margaret Berger was the first year for clarinet. Sierra Craig was third year for trombone. Lauren Ladson was second year All-State with clarinet. McKenna Jantz was first year for percussion. Peter McDonald was first year for clarinet. In orchestra at Central High School, we had Jason Ordine was first year for cello. Karen McDonald, first year for violin 2. The reason I'm saying first year, second, third year, because we haven't done this in the past, and I just want you to be able to get a sense of this is something hopefully we're going to continue to do year after year. For vocal, we had Crow Baker, first year for baritone, and this is vocal at Central. Sylvie Blackman was first year for alto. Nathan Kern was first year for bass. Gage McAllister was first year for tenor. Meredith Sloat, first year for alto. And Jack Stremlow was first year baritone. And that's Central. Oh, no, I'm sorry, I have a couple more. We have Angela Torres was a third year soprano. We have Toby Wood, first year tenor. And then we had John Zamies. I'm hoping I say that one right. Probably should have did that at the very beginning, talk about it. I'm reading the names the best that I possibly can. So second year for baritone for John. Then at North for band, we had Morgan Smith was first year for flute. We had for vocal at North, Elijah Boyle was first year for bass. Lindsay Knight was first year for alto. Trevor Milne, I get it right? Yes. All right, third year for baritone. Rebecca Rewerts was first year for soprano. Casey Scott, should be able to get that one right. Second year for tenor. And Devontae Wesley was third year for tenor. And those are for Davenport North. Now for West, for band, we have Dustin Cornelison, first year for senior. First year for alto. Gabriella Johnson was first year for bass and bass clarinet, I'm sorry. And then Matthew Race is third year for tuba. And those are my music. Now the 5 seniors, I think we only actually have 4 of them here tonight. I'd actually like to have those students come up, introduce themselves, introduce if they have any family members with them, and then maybe talk about a couple of the other activities they're involved with. And then there are more than one. They were so excited to take questions from you when I asked them about it. They really were fired up about it. So can I have my 4 students come up here? Third year award winners. Great. See how excited they look?
Hi, my name is Matthew Reese. I'm a senior at Davenport West. Next year I'll be attending Wartburg College to major in music education with a focus on band. Tonight I have with me my mom, Angie Reese, and my band director, Maggie Oates. Some of the things I did while I was in high school is I'm a member of NHS, the National Honor Society. I also am a mentor to some elementary and middle school band students at one of the local middle schools. I also was awarded the Major Landers Music Education Scholarship through the Southeast District of Iowa. I'm the Southeast District representative for that across the entire state of Iowa. I also have, in my time at West, spent a lot of time in the Spanish hallway. I did, aside from AP Spanish, which I sadly couldn't do this year, I couldn't find time, I took a lot of upper level Spanish classes and was planning to get to test to see if I could obtain the seal by literacy. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Angela Torres. I'm a senior at Davenport Central, and I have made Iowa All-State 3 years consecutively. I am also heavily involved in show choir, and I've had opportunities granted to me, such as performing with the band at Davenport Central. I am highly appreciative of all of the opportunities that have been given to me and the support that has been shown to me throughout Central and all of the staff members and everything like that to allow me to do things such as excel in choir. I'm also involved in show choir, like I said, and I'm also involved in theater. I am a thespian and mentors in violence prevention. I'm sure you guys are all familiar with. And throughout these programs, I have been able to travel to middle schools to speak with younger students, educate them a little bit, and just go around and educate. That's about all. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Sierra Craig. Tonight I brought with me my mother, Beth Craig, and throughout the past 4 years at Central, I have been involved in many musical ensembles, such as concert band, jazz band, marching band, show choir pit, musical pit, youth symphony. I'm also part of the NHS, Tri-M, and many other things. I've gotten great opportunities throughout going to school at Central High School, and I've been very thankful for all that, and I've been fortunate to, and I'm actually attending the school at Vandercook College of Music next year on a full tuition scholarship.
Hi. Yeah. Hi. I'm Trevor Milne. I'm a junior at Davenport North, and I have made All-State 3 years consecutively. I am a part of a lot of musical things that we have in North, I am a part of drama club, chamber choir, show choir, and orchestra. I'm also a part of National Honor Society, and I participated in Science Bowl this last year. I am brought with me today my parents, and they've really helped me through the 4 years of high school, and I'm really excited to see. I'm really happy that they're here with me and helped me through high school. And sorry.
Hi, I'm Devontae Wesley. I don't really know what to say, but I am involved in show choir, Northside Establishment. I'm in varsity dance team. I'm in drama. This year we're doing Songs for a New World. And
3 years in a row, Davenport for also.
this is my 3rd year of All-State. I didn't bring she wasn't able to come today, but I know that she loves me, and I know that she is always rooting for me and, making me the best I can be.
He was kind of ad-libbing a little bit. He just walked in just a couple minutes ago, whatever. So right now, if you've got a couple questions for these before we move on to the dance or whatever, and if not, then we'll just move on. But usually you have a couple questions. So
Any board members got questions? Director Beck.
I always have questions. So first of all, thank you all for coming tonight and congratulations. Your accomplishments are amazing. I don't even know what to say. You all have done so many incredible things. I can't keep my own calendar straight, and you all just listed like 7 different things that you're doing, which is fantastic. So I guess my question would be, what sort of life skill do you feel like you've gotten out of your experiences in performing arts? Because I know not everybody's in the same performing art. Is there one thing you think it's helped you with in life?
One thing that I've really learned and I hope to hold on to for the rest of my life is I learned a very strong sense of accountability, because in music, especially, that no one is going to make you learn music. Nobody can really make you do that. No one can make you be a better player. No one can make you be a better singer. So through that, I've learned that I need to hold myself to a higher standard than maybe I, should expect from myself in order to be what I want to be when I grow up.
Awesome. They can all give me the same question if they have answers for them.
Okay. I guess what a life skill that I have learned is just self-appreciation, to appreciate myself throughout all of this, because though I have the support of other people around me, which I appreciate very much, is that I am doing this and I'm doing this to better myself, and I get to share this gift with other people, which really does mean a lot to me, to be able to show the world what it is to be a performer. Awesome. And what it is to have such a strong passion and belief in what you do.
Awesome. Thank you.
I guess what this has all taught me is just the hard work that you really put in can pay off, because this past year I didn't have like a lesson teacher to help me with all of this. So when I did make the accomplishment, it felt fantastic for how much all the hard work that I have put in. So yeah, it's just taught me hard work can really pay off when you try your hardest.
Awesome.
I'd say that I'd learned how to have confidence in myself throughout this experience. Allstate has really shown that I can actually do like unbelievable things if I just put a lot of self-work. And so it was really nice to see that all pay off. And so I just say it helps with my confidence and with what I can do.
Awesome.
I'm just going to kind of tag off of what everybody else said since I'm the last person. Doing what you enjoy doing and, accomplishing what you want to accomplish really comes from inside. You have to want it. You have to be good. You have to try, and once you accomplish what you accomplish, you know, you get happy, you get joyful.
Director Poston, you had a question?
Yeah, I'd like to know how many of you participated through the Creative Arts Academy, and then also what career path you're planning to follow.
I was actually never a part of the Creative Arts Academy, but I do plan on going into like the school I'm going to, Vandercook, for a music ed degree, and hopefully in the future going to grad school, getting my master's in music ed and a bachelor's in drama performance.
Nice.
I did not participate in Creative Arts Academy, but I think right now what I want to do when I'm for a career is become a land surveyor. It's just what's on my mind right now. It might change, like everything does, but.
I did not participate in the Creative Arts Academy. I didn't even know that existed until like a year ago. But as for a career, I'm planning to go into studying psychology or musical therapy.
I'm also not part of the Creative Arts Academy, but I'm looking into I think I'm looking into Wright State University. I kind of want to get more into music and stuff, and you know, just push through. Yeah.
I also wasn't a part of the Creative Arts Academy. I'm planning on going to Warburg College to major in music education with plans on being a band teacher in my future.
Any other board members got questions? Director Potts, you don't have nothing?
I don't have a question. I just want to say I don't know how many people really appreciate the amount of work and time it takes to become an all-stater. And I think didn't you sing the national anthem in the park? Yeah, and you and I visited then, didn't we? Yes. The amount of time, the amount of effort, especially this year, when it wasn't in-person auditions, but you had to record them and send them in. That's a whole different level of stress. I know I went through that. Not that I'm a musician. My wife is the choir director at North Scott High School, and she's gone through all this. And it was a long fall for us. Long fall. 6 o'clock leaving the house rehearsals and practices and all of it. It's a tremendous accomplishment. The only downside this year was you didn't get the all-state choir and you didn't get the all-state orchestra experience in Ames. But it's a lifetime achievement, and you earn every bit of it. And I'm supposing you're waiting to hear the results from large group contest, which has it gone in yet? Small group contest? Small group. Have you got the results back yet? Have you? Okay. And? All right. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments from board members? I just want to say you all did a great job. You spoke very well, and you remembered to thank your parents, even though you forgot their names. But that's all right. And parents, thank you for coming and supporting your kiddos too, because I know that's a lot of hard work and dedication. So, and thank you all for your hard work and dedication to your passions and seeing everything through.
Again, you know, I consider 3-time like state champions or whatever, 3 times. That's pretty impressive. So also with us today is we're acknowledging some of our all-state dance competition for our students and our teams. I'm going to have the central group come up in a little bit, but first of all, I'll talk about North. Their Division I soloist in Class 8 was Isabella Sneath, Christina Sevilla, and Emily Garcia. And then Division I team, We had Class 3 Lyrical they took 7th place, and Class 5 Jazz was 11th place. These are all notes that you can ask the instructor when I have her come up later about what those actually mean as far as what teams, and I know it has a lot to do with the amount of teams that are competing, so you'll hear a lot of different classes. A Division II rated dance team for North was also the Class 11 POM. They took 9th place. Then at West, for Division I soloists in Class 9, we had Madeline Barnes, we had Alyssa Bohr, we had Isabella Martins, Elise Nelson, and Kennedy Wink. And we also at West had Division I rated dance teams of Class 3 Lyrical. They took 6th place. Class 12 POM took 7th place, and Large School Kick took 3rd place. Then at Central, our Division I rated solos, Class 9 were Emma Logus, Jersey Tyler Shepard, Garwin Clinton Nelson, Gariana Clinton Nelson. Again, you guys can correct some of the names when you come up. Cassidy Gertz and Alexis Panther took 6th place. Our Division I rated team, which you're going to meet in just a moment here, was co-ed 1st place, and it's actually the 4th consecutive state championship for Central in dance. Also the Division I rated teams at Central were Large School Kick took 2nd place, All Male took 3rd place, the Class 6 Jazz took 8th place, and the Class 12 POM took 9th place. And so I'm going to have Meredith Dennis, please come up here, and then you can display your banner, right? But also a lot of things. I appreciate it. This is our head coach of our dance team at Central.
Hello, I'm Meredith Dennis, and I am the head coach at Davenport Central. I am not known for my brevity, especially when I'm talking about my kids, so I will try to keep it short and observe everyone's time. So I'm excited because we do have almost all of our seniors here tonight, so I would like them to stand for you because they were all a part of our 4th consecutive state championship in co-ed and all of the other amazing accomplishments they've had over their 4 years that we have had them on the team. They have placed in every category we've been in at least once, most of them multiple times since they have been on the team, and brought home more collective awards for the dance team than any other group has. So very exciting for them. We're going to miss them tremendously when the new year starts. I think more important this year about their accomplishments is that they did do everything virtually. While about 80% of the state was in person, we went online 6 days before state and were not allowed to compete in person, and had to, within 3 days, all the teams, Northwest obviously, and Central as well, had to video our routines kind of in the 9th hour there. So it just is a tremendous thing for them to do. I should also say, too, that 3 of our 4 All-Staters, which is something different, are also here. So Garen, Gariana, and Emma, as well as Jersey Tyler Shepard, were also part of the All-Iowa Honor Dance team. They did get to go to Des Moines and perform with all of the other recipients of that honor, and it was played during the 4A state championship basketball game. So they didn't get to perform live at the basketball game, but everyone got to see them. So it was a great year. It was much different than we ever thought it would be, but they should still be really proud of all their accomplishments, and hopefully you are too.
They're going to come up.
And they do have our banner, which eventually will get put in the gym once George Marshall is finished being renovated, fixed. There's always something in there, but so all 4 of them.
They're excited to talk. Each one's going to
I know. I'm sure they are. They're thrilled to talk. So.
go ahead. You're first in line.
Hi, my name is Meredith Sloat. I'm here quite frequently. I was thrilled to be on dance team this year. I had a leadership position, which was very exciting for me. I loved every piece of it. It was my first year doing co-ed, so I really enjoyed winning first in the state. And I'm not sure I'm supposed to share anything else. Oh, some of my other activities. Well, there's a lot of them. We might be here for a while. I'm involved in choir, show choir. I was in the orchestra for some time. I'm currently an NHS officer, the president of Triumph Music Honor Society, a quadrillion other things, drama club, thespian officer, all of that good stuff. So I will respect your time and end the list there.
Hi, I'm Asher Meyer. I was on the dance team for 2 years. In addition to dance, I play football, and I'm in drama club. after high school, I'm going to be attending the University of Augustana. Thank you.
Okay. Hi, my name is Garen Clinton Nelson. I've been on the dance team for 4 years now, and I'm a competitive dancer at a studio called Artistic Intensity Dance Company. That's where I get a lot of my technique training, but I've also learned a lot from Meredith and the dance team that has taught me quite a bit of things in life, and I'm grateful for that. And I was a captain with some other girls too, and I'm just grateful for everything. So bye-bye. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Garyana, and I've been a 4-year varsity member of the dance team. I'm also part of NHS, and I'm a youth leader at my church, and I also compete at the same studio that my sister before me just said.
Hi, I'm Emma Logus. I've been a part of dance team all 4 years. I was also there for all co-ed wins all 4 years. I am also a part of Artistic Intensity Dance Company. The two other girls before me I've been dancing with since I was 4. I'm also a part of NHS. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Demeric Angel. I'm an all-around performer. I've been in drama club, theater. I did cheer this year. I am a 3-year member of the dance team. I got the great opportunity to co-captain with John James for all male, and dance team has been my far most favorite memory from high school. So.
Hi, my name's John Sames. I've been on the dance team for 3 years. In addition to being on the dance team, I was involved with marching band, show choir for the past 4 years. As mentioned before, I'm a 2-year All-Stater. I made SEBA 3 years. I'm also involved in NHS. This year and Tri-M, and this year I got involved with cross country and track during dance team. I really enjoyed being on dance team, and honestly, in every group that I've been in, the amount of support that I felt from everybody is amazing. Whether you're going through a bad time, I've always felt like you could go to the coach, any of the directors at Central, you could go to anyone, and they'd be there for you. I've had an absolute blast this year co-captaining with Demeric and then Kylan Phillips, who's not here. And I've been really proud of the accomplishments that we've gotten done as co-ed, getting our fourth consecutive D1 for co-ed, and for all the accomplishments that we've done for all male. I am very fortunate for my time at Davenport Central. Thank you.
So we've got time for a few questions, if you've got some for the instructor or for the students.
Director Klein Jerome.
I would just like to give a shout out to the McKinley alumni because I taught there. Yes, yes. And at Central because I also taught there. So good job.
Director Snyder, I knew you would talk on this one. He dances in his off time and knows plenty of routines.
You betcha. Well, everybody knows that I'm a big supporter of the dance programs. And typically, for those who don't know, dance teams are considered a winter sport. However, they try out in, Meredith, correct me if I'm wrong, April.
They're done. Yep.
And they work hard all through the summer. They'll have their competition routines done by the time school starts. All state tryouts are in October.
The first week, Labor Day.
Okay. So, yes. And then, anyway, they have to have everything done by the time school starts because competitions are in the fall. This program goes year round, I guess is what I'm getting to. This is not simply just a winter program. These kids work very, very hard. How many students are in this room? Like students? Raise your hands. How many students, because we've all heard about your achievements in music, in dance, in the other things you're in. How many students at some point in your high school education have received some type of academic achievement award? Stand up. That is what getting involved in your school does. Kids who put more into what they do at school get more out of it. These extracurricular activities are so, so important. I'm very proud of all of you.
Director Beck.
I just want to say congratulations. That's a fantastic achievement. For 1 year to be state champions, and then, for multiple years, it's exceptional. I think you guys are amazing. Do you guys have like a little 30-second thing you do?
A routine?
Do we have enough space for that? No? Oh, okay. I was kind of hoping to get a little performance out of you, but
I'll send you the co-ed video.
perfect. There we go. That's perfect. All right. Well, congratulations. And I know great things are going to happen in your futures. So thank you so much for being here tonight and for telling us your stories. What I'm most impressed about is all the different things that you all do. You all have it sounds like you all have very different interests. And some of you have been involved in dance since you were little kids, and some of you not so much. And you're all here, and that's fantastic. So thanks.
Hi, just a real quick thing. Since he asked this question earlier, 4 of us actually are a part of the Creative Arts Academy. And we have been a part of the Creative Arts Academy since the 6th grade. And I just wanted to say that since he asked that earlier.
Awesome.
Real quick, in a second, we'll have you all come up here and take a picture with the board and then the other group as well. But I just wanted to say you all did a great job. Be proud of your accomplishments. You're all matching, representing your schools. I love it. Obviously, I'm a Wildcat, but good for you. Make sure you bring your banner up here so you're not tripping on it. Hold it up there so you can get it in the picture. But yeah, if you all would come up here and take a picture with the board, and then we'll have the next group come up as well. Make sure you're wearing your mask though, because this will be probably on our social media pages, and we don't want any bad comments.
They have been. Yep, we'll come stand near you.
Where you want us?
Who's taking the picture?
Yeah.
You want me to get out of the way? You want me to get out of the way? Yeah, sure.
Yeah, of course.
No, yeah.
This year I had 52. Going on next year, I'll have more than 60.
Yeah, stretch it a little bit.
And I'm okay.
I know. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. One of those has to work.
Yeah.
It would all be good.
Right.
We're still taking pictures.
5 students in the front. 5 students in the front.
You're looking very stoked there, sir.
Forward on the outside.
She's blocking.
Come on, you got plenty of room on the side. There's not many people you can see on the side. All right, ready? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. The outside. It's good stuff. So just in closing, we will have another opportunity where we're having more names. I actually have our theater students, the Iowa Thespian State Board. Those will be the next group, but there are also some additional music awards you're hearing about. We'll have more all-conference from our athletics coming forward in the future, so there'll be some additional times. But again, this is really dedicated and I want to say thank you to the board because you guys are dedicating a lot of funds towards these activities. And so it's really creating a lot of opportunity for our students where they're not, financial reasons aren't getting in the way. We're being able to do things. So I know you're crediting the kids, and we've got awesome programs, and we've had it for many, many years, but this is really creating a real commitment on your part. So thank you again on behalf of the students and the schools on that. Thank you.
You want to dismiss them?
Yes, we are going to be here for another 2.5 hours, so this is a great time to exit. Now, if you guys want to stay, that's wonderful, but totally understand if you don't. Thank you so much for being here. Well, I'll tell you, that is incredibly exciting to see and hear, and I think we need to constantly remind ourselves that there are some excellent things going on in our building. I think you can see we purposefully flipped the presentations on our agenda to make sure that was the shot in the arm that we needed, so to speak. That's a terrible joke. I'm sorry. But right now we have our district nurse coming up to the podium to kind of talk about, there's lots of questions about vaccinations, contact tracing, things like that. So I wanted to ask Gina to come today to kind of just talk to us a little presentation about where we are today with vaccinations, contact tracing, things of that nature. But I think I'd be remiss if I didn't publicly thank Gina Ekstrom for all of her hard work during this time. You really do need somebody that's dedicated, hardworking, and willing to go the extra hour. And you guys have no idea what Gina Ekstrom has been doing for our district. We lean on her heavily for her expertise in the health field. She's connected to the Scott County Health Department and very well respected amongst our staff, and her opinion matters. And so I wanted to personally say thank you, Gina. You have done an outstanding job helping lead our district in this time. And so with that being said, we'll kind of turn it over to you to kind of talk to us about where we are and potentially answer some questions.
Sure.
Thank you.
That is a very hard act to follow, but let's see. My stuff is not nearly that interesting or exciting. Just a little background about how things have been going here in Scott County over the last probably 6 weeks since we came back from our spring break week. Numbers in Scott County definitely took a peak for about 3 or 4 weeks, and we were hovering at about 11 to 13% positivity rate, where before we left for spring break, we were at about a 3% positivity rate. So we definitely did see a spike in cases in the county, and that was shown in our schools in those few weeks after spring break. I'm happy to say that number has come down last week and this week in the county. We're at 8% positivity last week and at 6% positivity this morning, and that also is being seen in our numbers in the district. So that's a little mini celebration I had at my desk this morning. Total positive cases that we've had in all students across the district to date that we know of is 439, and in staff we have had 347. We have placed a total of 425 students in quarantine related to exposure at school or a school activity. And a total of 34 staff have been placed in quarantine related to exposure at school or a school activity. So those exposures, for the most part among students, I can tell you happen in the lunchroom because they're not wearing their masks while they're eating. And for teachers, a lot of the times we're seeing that in some of our special education classrooms where it's really more difficult for students to keep masked during the day. And so although our numbers have been on the rise in the last 4 to 5 weeks, we are not seeing spread of COVID inside our school buildings really at all. Of those 425 exposures that we designated as school exposures, we've only had 8 children later come back positive. So I think that, that shows that the mitigation strategies that we're using at school, doing our best to socially distance and having the kids and the teachers wear their masks, is definitely helping us keep our numbers down here in the district. As far as contact tracing goes, it is a very, 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 very large job that I don't do by myself by any means. I do have a contact tracing nurse that is supported by a grant through United Way. She gives us about 15 hours a week and assists me with that. And also all of our nurses in the buildings and our health paras are very hands-on, helping me gather lists of students. Our principals and associate principals get pulled in as we're, trying to figure out, once a student tests positive, who else in the school was exposed. So it's definitely a team effort to do that contact tracing. As far as COVID vaccinations go, we were the only district in Scott County that utilized our own nurses to administer COVID vaccines, and we had a wonderful turnout. And right here in this space, we administered a total of 2,006 doses twice. So everyone in the district that got dosed twice. So 2,006 out of 2,464 district staff have received 2 doses of the Moderna vaccine here in this building. That was as of March 11th. We do have some staff who have since then been vaccinated on their own in alternate locations. So it is about 81% of our total staff of Davenport Community School District is fully vaccinated. And we did offer that vaccine to every district employee. It didn't matter what your job title was. That included substitute teachers, substitute paras, coaches, even our sports officials. So we had to open really to everyone and ended up with about 80% of staff fully vaccinated. Since we have had our staff return as fully vaccinated, we've had a huge decrease in COVID numbers among our staff. So once we were 2 weeks out from vaccination and I started counting, we've only had 14 positive cases among staff, and none of those staff have been vaccinated. So I think it shows that our vaccinations are definitely hard at work. Once staff are fully vaccinated, they are no longer required to quarantine if they do have an exposure, whether that exposure is at school or at home or out in the community. And so the number of staff that we have had out missing school because they had to quarantine is also way, way down. I think today we only had 7 or 8 staff across the district out related to quarantine. And currently we don't have any staff out related to a positive test this week. So some exciting news that just got pushed out today is that we are partnering with Hy-Vee Pharmacy to offer the COVID vaccination to all of our students age 16 and over. They can receive the Pfizer vaccine at clinics that will be on May 4th and 6th for first doses. And then the second doses will be scheduled May 25th and 27th. So that got pushed out today on our social media and our website, and it will continually be pushed out until those dates. And it's open to any students in our district over the age of 16 and their families, their adult family members. That's going to happen at the Gordman's, the old Gordman store on Elmore Avenue, from 4 to 7 on those evenings. So we're excited. Hopefully we can get a lot of our students. Take that back to your schools, ladies. The more students we have vaccinated, the greater our potential is to continue with our summer sports, our summer athletics, and our graduation plans. So that's all I have for you, but I'm certainly willing to take any questions.
Director Beck.
Well, I just wanted to thank you for the hard work you and the rest of the staff have been doing. And you gave me my second dose and I didn't even feel it. So I can attest to your skill. So did I hear you say there were only, since staff have been vaccinated, only 14 positives and all of those people were unvaccinated?
Correct.
Okay. And then, and you said about 81% of
our total staff have been vaccinated, vaccinated at our clinics.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
Any other questions? Do you have a question? All right. Well, thank you, Ms. Ekstrom, and keep up the great work. We greatly appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Gina.
Thank you again for all your hard work. I wanted to one-up Superintendent here. All right. Presentations are done. We'll move on to student board reports.
Sophie, you want to start us off today?
I'd love to start us off today. All right, so going on the fine arts trend, I'll start with our fine arts news at North. The musical is scheduled for May 14th through 16th. It's called Songs for a New World, and it's basically about the American experience through the eyes of many different people. We have band, orchestra, and vocal state large group contest coming up May 7th and 8th. We had 57 choir students participate in the State Solo Ensemble Festival last Saturday, with North scoring with 20 students receiving excellent rating, 8 students receiving superior rating, and our chamber choir receiving a perfect score, where I helped playing cello. Show choir gave an excellent performance down at the Adler last night, where all the schools except for West, it was, I think, Central and Bettendorf as well. In our athletics news, North hosted successful Jessie Day relays with 23 teams participating. North Tennis has chosen their cause for this year, which we will be partnering with the Wesley Will Win Foundation. So every dollar donated is going to little Wesley Harper, the son of one of our security guards at North. He was diagnosed I think it was leukemia, I'm not sure, at just 2 years old. So we're helping their family out with costs and stuff. If you want to donate anything, just stop by the school or contact Miss Christian and I, and we'll get that. We're doing each dollar is a serve, so if you want to see me hit about 150 serves, go right ahead. Yeah, we're just looking forward to great seasons for both tennis, soccer, track, and girls golf. In our academics news, we had 15 more students come back in person this term. Hagen Walker received a full ride presidential scholarship to Utah State University. Anastasia Wen received the honor of being appointed to the United States Naval Academy.
Wow.
And as with Central and West, North had 2 students recognized as Governor Scholars in Des Moines yesterday, which was Quincy Wiseman and I. Got our pictures taken with the governors. I can show you it after. I know that Ladella Gallagher from Central also showed up, and then 2 boys from West I do not know. So yeah, we're looking forward to prom this Saturday, and of course graduation in 5 short weeks. Thank you.
I'll take it away from here, I guess. So we have had a very successful past couple of weeks in our sports and our arts as well. So this past week, Central did our spring production of sorts, which was the variety show. And we had both show choirs participate in the variety show, as well as any student from Central who would like to audition and participate. And that was completely virtual. So we recorded it on Wednesday, or partially recorded on Monday, and then it was live streamed out on Wednesday, so there was no audience, but everybody got to participate and feel the atmosphere of the performance, which was a great way to end our year. And then we had show choir over the weekend, as Sophia touched on earlier, at the Adler. We had both our JV and our varsity groups perform, and it was met with much rigor because we were very excited to be performing, and especially in the Adler, and that kind of venue is unparalleled. So that was a roaring success. And then upcoming week, we have prom week. So our prom will be held on Saturday, and we are all very excited for that. That is seniors only, I guess, and their dates only. But we are getting very excited to have a COVID-safe prom, as we weren't sure that that was something we were going to be able to have this year. So everybody's getting very excited. And then in this next week, we are going to wrap up our show choir season with performances in DC time, which is our advisory period at Central, on Thursday and Friday, as well as performances for parents in the PAC, socially distanced and masked, on Thursday and Friday evening as well. So we've got lots of exciting stuff happening. As far as academics go, we started our D term today. So kids went to their new classes, and hopefully everything went smoothly for them. I know I had a great time in my new classes today, and we wrapped up C term finals last Friday. So ending strong to the year, and I think that's all I have to report. And respectfully, I'm going to back out and head back to show choir.
Thank you guys so much. Those are wonderful reports. Again, another reminder of the excellent things that are going inside of our schools, so thank you.
All right, student board reports are done. We'll move on to board reports. Are there any board reports? Director Klein-Jerome.
I would just like to thank everybody who supported the Davenport Schools Foundation Restaurant Week last Thursday. I happened to do carry out at 4 in the afternoon in one restaurant, told my husband at that point they'd already raised $3,200. And there were many restaurants participating, so I thought that was very good because the foundation supports field trips and other student activities. And I also did watch the Central Variety Show, and I want to give them a shout out to the fact that they had a sign language interpreter that was throughout the whole program, and I thought that was really awesome that they would do that for them.
Any other? Director Beck?
I just want to take this moment. I know our physical audience is smaller, but to ask everyone in the district, in Davenport, in all of the Quad Cities to please, please, please get vaccinated for COVID if you are physically able to do so. As Gina said, of the number of people who have had COVID, number of staff, all were unvaccinated. I'd like to stop wearing a mask. We'd all like to stop being asked to wear masks. And the only way we're going to be able to do that is if everyone gets vaccinated. So I'm requesting or reminding people that if you can, you should.
Director Snyder.
The board would like to express their condolences to DeVell Johnson's family and friends and Miss Cami Montoya and the entire team at Jefferson Elementary.
Thank you, Director Snyder. Director Poston.
Yeah, a couple things. Ira Dunsworth asked me to pass along his thanks to the board, staff, and community for the honor that was bestowed upon him. He is absolutely thrilled to have Brady Street Track named after him, and so he'd like to pass that along. Also, I attended the Quad City High School apprenticeship program signing day. This is where many businesses take part in this program, the big one being John Deere. Almost half of the signees were from Davenport West. I know there was at least 5 or 6 students that were in the welding program that signed with John Deere. This presents a huge opportunity for these students. And I would also add that Superintendent Snakeloth did a great job co-hosting the event.
Thank you. Karen and I totally missed out on that because we were stuck in contract negotiations, so we didn't even get to go. Any other board reports? I have Director Klein Jerome.
I also attended the National Guard Readiness Center open house, which was made possible because of the fact that the district and the National Guard swapped land so that they could build it. It's a wonderful facility. It was a little chilly sitting out there, but I was very impressed, and I'm glad this worked out for both sides to swap the land, and they were able to build that.
Thank you. I have a couple. Don't forget to get board members. Don't forget to get with Brenda to get yourself scheduled for the 2 webinars coming up for superintendent evaluations. I know we can only attend one of them in June because we have Mid-Cities graduation on the other day for the other one. So I just wanted to remind everybody there to make sure you get back with Brenda. And then this Friday, April 30th at 6 p.m. at Vanderveer Park is the Time Capsule of Hope event. If you're able to attend, please try to be there. I did see the time capsule. It is pretty cool. It's got everybody's names on it. Alderman Rick Dunn welded it all up, and it'll have all the council members' names on one side and then all the board members' names on the other.
It's at 6:30 at Vanderbilt?
At 6 o'clock, 6 p.m. And if you have your Hope t-shirt, Jabari would like you to wear that. If you do not have one, get a hold of Jabari, and I'm sure he can get you one.
He's got boxes of them.
Well, yeah, because we got him the last time he did have boxes. You're right. So he should have plenty of shirts to get you a shirt.
Plenty of 2Xs.
And then the only other thing I had last week on Wednesday night, myself, Superintendent Schneckloff, and Dr. Klipsch attended the city council meeting to speak in support of the SRO MOU between our two entities. And that meeting went a lot longer than we thought it was going to. And it kind of felt like that our joint meeting that we had between our two entities didn't happen with some of the questions that had happened. And just so I can go on record saying this, one alderman made the comment that he was there for that meeting, and I know I called on this person 3 times throughout the duration, at the beginning, middle, and end, and they never responded. And I know I had asked Joe if that person was even participating remotely, which they were not. We only had one alderman on with the rest of them there. So I just wanted to go on record with that, because nothing irritates me more than someone that talks about something and they weren't there, because what do I always say? If you're going to talk about it, be about it. Otherwise, I think everything else went great. I do appreciate TJ and Jake staying so long for that meeting. And we will be moving on our end. And we did make a change to that, which I'll talk about later. And then we'll be moving on with that. And I think that was all I had. And before I move on to communications, I totally apologize. I was going to do a moment of silence for the thing that happened in our community the other day where we lost a student, and I did not do that, so I will do that right now so I can get that in. If everyone will take a moment of silence. All right, thank you. Are there any other board reports? Seeing none, I will move on to communications and open forum. Open forum is a time for members of the community to give input at a board meeting regarding school district issues or concerns. Individuals who want to speak should fill out an open forum request and give it to the board secretary prior to open forum. The open forum request is now available in hard copy for in-person attendees or online for those who want to participate in open forum virtually. The link is located on the front page of the district website, right-hand side. For those who want to participate virtually, the request must be emailed to Brenda T. by 3 p.m. on the day of the board meeting. The board will not act on any issue presented during open forum if it was not published as an agenda item. The Iowa Open Meetings Law prohibits action on any issue that is not on the agenda. The president will set the amount of time allowed for individuals to speak during open forum. The board asks that no charges or complaints be made against individual employees of the district or community during open forum. Remarks that reflect negatively on the character or motives of any person will be called out of order. Anyone not in attendance but wishing to speak at open forum, call 563-445-5001. And there were no online and none filled out here. All right. We will move on to the consent agenda. May I have a motion on the consent agenda?
Mr. President,
Who was that? Director Snyder.
I move that the board approve the consent agenda as presented.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Director Beck. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, I will call for the vote. Director Snyder?
Yes.
Director Beck?
Yes.
Director Klein Jerome?
Yes.
Director Poston?
Yes.
Director Potts?
Yes.
And my vote is yes. Motion carries. Oh, I do want to acknowledge that Director Hayes is not here tonight. She is not feeling well. And now we'll move on to approval of bills. May I have a motion?
Mr. President,
Director Beck.
I move that the board approve the resolution recommended by the administration for the adoption of the bills from the bill listing periods of April 8th, 2021 to April 21st, 2021. Resolved, all claims presented to the board having been duly certified as correct by the treasurer, reviewed by the administration and board members, and they are hereby audited and allowed as just claims and warrants drawn on the treasury for the several amounts. Further resolved, the payment of claims and salaries be approved as presented for the periods of April 8th, 2021 to April 21st, 2021 with the following voided check. Number 372789 in the amount of $167.50 to Chad Schmertman, wrong vendor.
Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Director Klein Jerome. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. Director Beck?
Yes.
Director Klein Jerome?
Yes.
Director Potts?
Yes.
Director Poston?
Yes.
Director Snyder?
Yes.
My vote is yes, motion carries. Superintendent report.
I think we can move right on to the committee reports today.
All right, committee reports. Finance report.
So our finance committee met last week to review the monthly financials, and Kevin will be preparing those Kevin has prepared those for us this month and will be sharing them with us right now. So again, we had another great finance committee meeting where we kind of dig in, ask questions. I think it's a good celebration of an accountability point that has been installed in our district and is becoming part of our practice. So go ahead, Kevin.
All right. So on your agenda, you had two attachments. I'll work on the finance key measures reports first. The first thing I want to remind everyone is we are 75% through the fiscal year, through the month of March. So when you look at these percentages and these key measures, keep that in the forefront of your mind. You'll see the first thing to look at is our expenditure totals at 70%.
Hey, can you hang on one sec? Can we
Yes.
get that on the screen so everybody can see it? Or Brenda's got it, never mind. I didn't mean to cut you off.
That's
I know
okay.
you were on a roll. I wanted our huge audience to see it. This will show up on the stream too, right?
Yes.
If you're sharing it, Brenda, will it show up on the live stream as well? As long as it's on here?
Yes.
Good. All right, thank you.
Okay, so this key measure report, you've seen this format in the past. We're 75% of the way through the year, and you'll see the first thing, I highlighted in yellow the key facts that I wanted to show you. We're sitting at 70% of our expenditures. While we're 75% through the year, we're right where we belong. I'll remind you that this is the first month that we've had since the voluntary retirements. So that number should be dropping a little bit as we go through the last few months of the year. You'll also see our unspent balance. Well, as a point to that, 67% of our budget, and you'll see the trend where we're running in the 70%. So we're doing much better through this point in time this fiscal year. The other key number on there is you'll see that our projected solvency ratio is at 11.7%. Should be between the 5 and the 15%. So that is out. It's the bottom section of that. You'll notice to tie this together, if we remember last month, we talked about a budget amendment, and I talked about the 4 categories. What you see on this report is those 4 categories: instructional, support services, non-instructional, and other. That's where this comes full circle. And when you see the FY21 certified of the $229.6 million, that is the amended budget, not the original budget. So I want to keep that in mind. And what's important is that variance on the far right. We want to stay positive in those 4 categories, which we're projected to be. So our amendment is spot on. On the other report, on the other attachment, you'll see the first thing on our revenue side, you'll see that it's 64%. Remember I said 75%, that number seems low. But what you have to remember is we receive our second half of our property taxes in the month of April. So you're going to see that number rebound to be a little bit more in line to where we're going to be for the year. 64% is not that far behind the 75% when you get that amount of property taxes. And you'll see on the expenditure side, again, it just repeats the 70% of our year. And our unspent balance estimated to be at 16.1 million. We're trending the right direction. All the changes made are showing in this report. You'll see in the other funds, I want to go to page 2 on the other funds, and this is just a reminder. It'll tie into what we're going to report on our next couple agenda items. You'll see that we have a negative balance in the nutrition fund. Expected to be this way because of an unusual year with more expenditures and the lack of revenue that we typically would receive. This is we'll be having a small part of it as a conversation to move ESSER funds into the nutrition fund to get that back to the positive. Any questions?
Director Beck.
Just for everyone who might be listening, under the expenditures, we have it says $9 million deficit for fiscal year 21, correct?
Yes.
And in the management fund, it's 800,000 and change. Can you explain why those are there, even though we are on the right track?
That's a good question. The general fund and part of the management fund for both of those answers is the property tax that we'll be receiving. That is a net between revenues and expenditures. When I said revenues are lagging behind, that's what you see right there. So in April, that will self-correct. It will also in the management fund. Management fund may be a little bit lower because of the voluntary retirements that we have, could have an impact on that to bring that down. But again, the property tax collection last week or 2 weeks ago will self-correct that.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? So I guess I'll ask another question then. So we're trending at the right percentage, what we should have spent for the year?
Yes.
We're right about where we should be?
Yes.
Okay. Perfect, well, thank you. Any other questions? Director Klein-Jerome.
Kevin, when will we use ESSER funds to fill the nutrition fund, like May, June?
Good question. I should have followed up on that. When we get through the month of May, we will estimate just the month of June revenues and expenditures so we can get as accurate of a number as we can. And before the end of June, to transfer these funds, we have to have board approval with an amount. So we will recommend an amount at the last June board meeting.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions? Seeing none, we will move on to items requiring action.
I still have another committee report.
Oh, sorry. Committee reports, my bad.
Nope, that's LZAC committee met would have been a couple weeks ago. And at the end of that meeting, we kind of went around and did the same thing we do here and had kind of like a reflection type thing. And it was basically, what do we want the board to know that the committee, talked about? Because this LZAC committee is extremely important. And here's the things that they wanted me to talk about at this time. The committee decided, or actually is looking at a 2-year commitment to the committee, because as with anything, there's kind of a learning curve once you get on a committee, and then get your feet wet and get going. They are looking at having more involvement with the board. When I was on the board before, we never really heard much about what the LZAC committee was doing, which is sad because just in the name, the local school improvement advisory committee is just that. In fact, we finalized the charge, which is kind of like what our mission is for the committee, and they're going to be bringing that to the board for approval to make sure it aligns with our goals. They have stressed that they want to be a vital part of the process. They are looking at targeting certain or some members so that they have the team fully established and ready to roll at the start of the school year. And they are also looking at potential student involvement in the LZAC committee. And one last thing, I don't know why I wrote this down, but apparently John Border, when he was working at a drugstore, he was out front sweeping when he was in college in Pennsylvania, and Fred Rogers, Mr. Rogers, drove by and waved at him. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Perfect. Thank you, Director Snyder. Director Beck, did you have anything on policy committee reports? Nope.
We've got
Okay.
policies tonight, so.
All right. Are there any other committee reports? I apologize. I didn't ask about that before. Seeing none, I will move on to items requiring action. May I have a motion on item or subject 10.01?
Mr. President,
Director Poston.
move the board approve memorandum of understanding between the City of Davenport and the Davenport Community School District regarding the School Resource Officer Program as presented.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Director Potts. Is there any discussion? Director Snyder?
I just have one question. I've had a lot of questions from people looking for like finite details. And the way I've been explaining this, and I want to make sure that I'm explaining this correctly to them. So if I'm not, please correct me so that I'm getting them the correct information. This SRO MOU is basically a roadmap, kind of like a rough outline of what's to come. There's going to be more specific details as this kind of gets underway. Is that pretty much correct?
Yes.
Thank you.
That good with you, Lieutenant Smith, or did either one of you want to talk at all? I know you drove all the way here, so. All right. If you all notice, we did change the wording on, I'm trying to remember the section, but it says instead of in the classroom, it says on school grounds. We did change that, so.
What was changed?
Instead of saying in the classroom, now it says on school grounds. It's number 6. And what letter was it? 6G. Where it defined, before it had said the administration was responsible for disciplining the students in the classroom. Now it says our staff are responsible for the disciplinary on school grounds.
6H.
Director Potts.
Can I get clarification on that? Are we, because there was an article I read in the paper of the city council meeting, I was getting the implication that an individual wanted SROs not to be able to act as policemen on school grounds. And I'm not sure, that was the impression I got from what was said in the paper. And I'm concerned that if this change is a reflection of that concept, I don't buy it. So I need to be clarified what we're talking about, because there are times when there are things that may occur after school on school grounds where it's appropriate and necessary that whether it's the SRO or a patrol officer has to act like a policeman.
Go ahead, Lieutenant Smith and Jake.
Yeah, Lieutenant Smith, Davenport Police Department. So, at the council meeting the other night, the older woman that brought this concern up was they didn't want the word classroom to be to limit the scope of the police officer in the school. So I think it's the opposite of how you are receiving that. So they wanted to the behavioral issues are in the school as a whole. So not just in the classroom. I think there was some hang up with the actual word itself, classroom, and we didn't want to just limit the language of the MOU to the literally inside of the classroom as opposed to the entirety of the school grounds. Does that clarify that?
And yes,
I can buy that interpretation. I'm not sure that was the motivation of the person at the city council meeting who brought it up.
Yeah, I don't. It was initially, I believe, in 6G that said that behavioral issues are the responsibility of district staff for behaviors that occur in the classroom. And the concern was that the way that I understood it, and I don't know what was reported in the Quad City Times, but the concern was that they said they didn't just want administrators to result with the classroom behaviors. They wanted our building staff to be the first people to respond to behavioral issues and disciplinary issues all throughout the school. And that was the intent of that comment. And we wrote the word classroom to reflect that. But then we realized, like, yeah, that we did not mean it for just in the classroom, that it was intended to be that SROs are not disciplinarians. They're not the ones that are responding to behavior, whether it's in the classroom or in the school as a whole. So again, I don't know, the comment within the Times, but that was the current concern as I understood it, and that's what's now reflected in the MOU to say behavioral issues are the responsibility of district staff for behaviors that occur on school grounds.
Does that answer your question, Director Potts? I forgot the behavioral part.
Yes.
Thank you. Director Schneider.
I think the important keywords here for this is non-criminal behaviors, something that the staff would handle. They just extended it from classroom to grounds.
I understand. I never saw that wording of the classroom as being prohibitive or being restrictive in the first place. I saw that statement as being sort of a reminder to staff that just because Johnny's being a knucklehead in your room doesn't mean you grab the SRO to have him come in and try to yap at the kid. See?
Director Beck.
Yeah, I appreciate all the work that you guys put into this and that we've all put into this as well. I know the couple questions that I keep getting relate to sort of the details a little bit more specificity on what would qualify as discipline related versus and under the purview of the school district versus other behaviors. But I think actually Mr. Potts just used the correct term, non-criminal behavior. And so I think an assurance that it's non-criminal behavior is the responsibility of the district first, makes that clear. The other thing I've been asked is who's responsible for posting the data and where will the public be able to find it? And so I just, I assume it'll be on our website, but
it will be on our website and it will be on the city's website. Now, I know you have some legal things to work through on how you can post it, because obviously, just for a scenario, if John Doe tests positive for COVID at West High School and then you put that out there, then you've totally put that student's information out there. So you just have to find a way to I'm just giving that scenario, not that that happened, but I'm just giving you
Right.
a
Well, and
scenario.
I don't think anybody's looking for details that are going to violate a person's privacy. I think the concern is that there are concrete plans for where these data are going to be shared. And I think, as Director Snyder pointed out, some people get concerned that if it's not written in this MOU, it's not happening. And I'm confident that it is. And I kind of just want to reiterate that this is a roadmap, and some of those details are still going to need to be worked out or aren't supposed to be part of this roadmap. And then the other thing I'd like to remind people is that this is only until June 30th of 2022. And we have the options to modify things. It's not a binding contract that says this is the be all end all written in stone way we're going to do things forever and ever and ever. And so I think that's important as well.
Thank you. Director Klein-Jerome.
And I also wonder if that letter H, does it need to say non-criminal behavior issues? Is it going to be a problem if we don't have that in there? That people are going to say it's any behavioral issues, and we certainly don't. I don't think that's what we mean. It's the non-criminal behavior issues should be taken care of by the staff, not the SROs. But criminal behaviors, that's all different.
Well, I think too that we could drop an MOU that had had language that restricted not only the teachers in the classroom, but the police officers as well, because there are actual criminal incidents that happen in the schools that are actually handled by the staff and not SROs. Fighting is a criminal behavior by city ordinance and by state law, but that doesn't necessarily mean that an SRO has to get involved and then tickets issued and all of that. Sometimes that's handled by staff. So I would caution us against limiting that language to just to have that kind of a bright line about what is criminal and what is not criminal. It works both ways.
Okay.
I think it gives us some freedom to not have to handle every criminal incident with an SRO in the school.
Okay.
Any other questions? I do want to say we do appreciate all our SROs. I know right now with all this not here, but just the negativity and all the bad things going on around the country. I think it's a great thing, and I could not verbatim say what Alderman Condon said at that meeting, but at least we're doing something. At least, we're trying to put something in place, so they have a clear direction and we're able to collect data and things like that. But I do want all the SROs to know that we do appreciate them. I know sometimes they probably, get put in a negative light and things like that, but I think I can only speak for the ones in our district, but I think they're doing a great job and we greatly appreciate this. And I do appreciate all of you putting a lot of this time on this, putting together this MOU. I know we've had a lot of meetings on it and between our two entities. So any other questions? Seeing that, I'm going to move for the vote. Director Poston.
Yes.
Director Potts.
Yes.
Director Snyder.
Yes.
Director Klein-Jerome.
Yes.
Director Beck.
Yes.
My vote is yes. Motion carries. All right, we will move on to subject 10.02.
Mr. President,
Director Poston.
move the board receive and file the recommendation of termination of a district teacher.
Second.
Seconded by Director Klein-Jerome. Any questions or discussion? Seeing none, I will call for the vote. Director Poston.
Yes.
Director Klein-Jerome.
Yes.
Director Beck.
Yes.
Director Potts.
Yes.
Director Snyder.
Yes.
My vote is yes. Motion carries. Now we'll move on to discussion items.
Our first item up, we wanted to give you guys an overview of ESSER dollars. And so I asked Kevin to put together a PowerPoint. All of the information that you see here is gathered from previous Department of Ed slides and presentations that are given that Kevin decided to highlight from some of your questions and comments from either Finance Committee and other things of that nature that he's hearing in the community. So with this presentation is kind of the beginning of the journey that we're going on with our ESSER funds. So Kevin, go ahead.
If you remember, there's 3 sections to it: ESSER 1, 2, and 3. We're going to focus on ESSER 2 and 3. That's what the conversations across the state are going on now. So just to give you a little bit of perspective on this, on the next slide, ESSER 2 funds were almost $345 million for the state of Iowa. Davenport received $21.5 million. I know we've been throwing that number out there a lot, but it just reminds you of what we have. On the next slide, it tells us what it's a short list of some of the uses of ESSER 2 funds. Salaries and benefits, the food nutrition, that's the one that Karen asked a question on, that we can use to bring that fund to the positive. Facility improvements, and you can see the type of facility improvements is what I wanted to emphasize: to reduce the risk, upgrade air quality, and those type of improvements. But it also also purchase of equipment and supplies. And a note on that is educational technology requires prior written approval for any item over $5,000. The written approval through the Department of Ed. And then on the next slide is what is not allowed. We are not allowed to use incentive pay, except for, you'll see the caveat there about it's related to COVID-related disruptions and closures. An agreement for the pay was in place prior to the service being provided. We don't have that. So that is one of them that people are asking, can we retroactively give incentive pay? No. And another one that they specifically excluded was about student activity funds, and you can see the items there that we would have considered if we could have, but those are also not allowed. So that's kind of the listing of ESSER 2. On the next slide, ESSER 3 funds, and this is where people are really asking questions about. The thing to remember is the state has told us we must spend ESSER 2 funds before we spend ESSER 3 funds. A note before I talk about this also is it is still through fiscal year 23. I'll mention something about that here in a minute, but we have 2 years to spend both of these funds. So in ESSER 3, again, to give you perspective, it's $697 million to the state of Iowa. Our portion is $48.3 million. We are roughly between $69 and $70 million in ESSER 2 and ESSER 3 funds to spend in a 2-year time period. ESSER 3 carries some other conditions. There's a few more hooks, is what I would call them, in this. The first one is 20% of ESSER 3 funds must be used directly to address learning loss. The DE cited examples of like summer learning enrichment, extended day and year interventions, all of the things that we typically would consider. The other section is maintenance of equity. What they mean by that is when you have lower socioeconomic school buildings, they must have an equal or greater share than less lower socioeconomic school buildings. The caveat to that is it's all fund spent. It's not just the learning loss. So if you were to do something, let's say air handlers for a building, if you did that for a lesser socioeconomic building, you're going to have to spend a whole lot of money in lower socioeconomic buildings to make sure that you maintain that maintenance of equity. Equity is the key. We usually say maintenance of effort, but the DE has called this maintenance of equity. So that's an important portion to note. On the next slide for allowable uses, They're very similar to ESSER 2. The other part to remember when you see American Rescue Plan, when I was in a webinar last week, they kept saying ARP. So if you ever hear ARP, just know it's ESSER 3. You're going to hear that interchange. So it kind of threw me for a loop the first time I heard that once until I figured that out. So the other part is that it is allowable uses, develop strategies to implement public health protocols. So something down the line that we need to do, whether it be education related or any of those, it's pretty broad in that area. The conditions on the prior slide, the other portion I wanted to mention is, again, this is through June 30th, 2023. There is some questions being raised with the DE that if we can have an extension so we could accommodate summer school in 2023, come June of 2023, if it falls into July. Right now, the DE says no. But there's enough push, I believe, that we're working on that at that end. All this information, just as TJ mentioned, all of this information came from Iowa Department of Ed. They have information on guidance for 1 and 2, and they also posted a fact sheet from the U.S. Department of Education. Any questions?
Are there any questions? Director Klein Jerome.
Are we currently looking at a plan then that would say, here's our priorities, this is where we're going with it, and who's involved in making that plan?
So we have currently surveyed every building. So in the beginning, when ESSER 2 was launched, we went to our district student achievement team. We pushed out a call to action to every building student achievement team, to our union leaders. They surveyed their union. So we have gathered all of the information from our stakeholders about what the uses of these things are, what the uses of ESSER 2 and ESSER 3 dollars are. So we know where our district stands, how the dollars would like to move forward, and now the guidance is beginning to come out with what's allowable. The first thing for us is to begin to plan what does summer look like, because that's right around the corner, and continue to provide health and safety. The next really big step is a release of, I would say, guidance from the Department of Education on next steps for the utilization of these dollars. And that guidance is right around the corner. So from there, that's where we will be significantly planning how to spend those dollars in the correct order that Kevin suggested.
The other part to that is there's a lot of school districts that are, right now, they're kind of spinning their wheels and they don't know if they can even put a summer school together, where we're being a lot more proactive to try and pull that together.
Is it guidance or mandate?
Guidance.
Okay.
Any other questions? Director Poston.
Do you have any idea right now how much of those dollars will go towards making up for lost learning?
It all depends on the guidance that's going to be coming from the Department of Ed. I would say that the majority of it will be dedicated towards that. In Davenport, we're very fortunate that we have solid air handlers. We have the things that those $5,000 must request purchases. I'd say we're pretty solid on that. The majority of those dollars will be dedicated toward improving our instructional delivery model.
Any other questions? I've been waiting this whole time. Director Beck.
It sort of piggybacks on Director Poston's question. I guess, and actually what Kevin just said, I guess I worry that if we keep waiting and waiting and waiting for guidance and permission, summer's going to roll around. I mean, it's not very far from now, and that we don't have plans in place already. It's easier to set something up and cancel it than it is to build it very fast, I guess, is what I mean. And so ideally we'd have an extended school year, or we'd be in, we'd have full summer school or reading intervention every day, or really intensive things. But
I don't want to, that's a really good point, and I don't want to misunderstand like we don't have a plan.
Okay.
We are planning for summer school. Postings are going up. I know Mr. Stain and Mr. Scott are leading efforts at every one of our levels.
Okay.
We're major credit recovery at each one of our high schools. We're doing jump academies at our middle schools. We're hiring, and at our elementary schools, doing a heavy focus on our persistently low students in our kindergarten, first, second grade levels, and utilizing people to do extra reading and math, particularly for our third through sixth. So there is an absolute plan, and it is being pushed, rushed. I don't know what to use the right word. Everything has a sense of urgency. There we go. That's the word I'm looking for. We have a great sense of urgency about providing lost learning for our students this summer, and so those opportunities are being planned. I think there was a meeting today. Is that correct, Mr. Schnaden?
Yes.
So there was. I mean, we're meeting every day, particularly looking to get the ball rolling and start communicating that with our families.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you for letting me clear that up.
Any other questions? Seeing none, we can move on to discussion item 11.02, Mr. Superintendent.
The next two items on our agenda are going to require the second Sloat family member to come up and talk to us. We have some upgrades that need to happen. And on our virtual machines, I believe that's what VN stands for, right, Gary? So to talk to us about our next two, to discuss those so the board can hear exactly what these are, is Gary Sloat. Thank you, Gary.
Thank you. We'll start out with the upgrade to our campus. Excuse me. Technology is a little bit bad. Our campus system is mounted on a pair of servers that sit on premise in this building. They came due, they were ready to be replaced, and the idea was to take a look at that while going through the upgrade process and see what we could do to save some money. One of the things that we could do was to move the units off premises and into the cloud. And so campus to the cloud is what they call it. We looked into that, and it's going to save us about $8,300 over the course of a year, and that's ongoing through the contract. There are some costs with moving to that in the first year, but we will still be saving $5,500 by making this move in the first year. This started out as a project because it was a mid-year change out. We were talking about doing it at Christmas time and then spring break, and things are still pretty busy around here, so we didn't want to upset the apple cart. We thought we could push it off until the summer, and at that point it became a part of the renewal. So what you may have seen in the board packet is the contract that is our annual renewal, and that's normally handled under the curriculum department. I'm here to speak about it, to let you know about that. It's $149,963, and that represents the savings that we'll be making ongoing with this upgrade to the campus in the cloud project. This is a normal annual renewal. It's the campus system with Tableau and all the parts that we use to make the district function with our students. Any questions on campus?
This is a very important topic. Director Klein Jerome beat you to it, Director Beck.
Are we currently upgrading or doing something? I'm hearing people, I'm trying to put my grades in, I can't get into campus the last week or so. And will this improve that situation so that we have less downtime when people really need it?
It's my expectation that this will improve the access to the campus server. The campus servers are actually independent of everything else going on in the district. The only thing that they are dependent upon is how much activity is actually going on in the district on those particular machines. When we move into the cloud, we'll be going over the internet outside the district to get to our content that's going to be housed at these data centers. They're tier 3 data centers. They the beauty of these data centers is if they see our system needing an upgrade, they can almost instantaneously provide that upgrade to our servers as part of the service, as I understand it. So if we had any of those capacity issues, they'll be more readily achievable with this new campus in the cloud than they were with the on-premise servers, which they'd have to dispatch technicians to come out and do whatever upgrades at that point in time. So I expect it to be better. I really haven't heard that there's a lot of latency in that system, but I don't get all the data.
So my question is about security, right? You're always hearing in the news about ransomware and things like that. How does having, I mean, are we going to be more vulnerable to cybersecurity risks by having this information in the cloud? Or is it a tried and true system that?
It's actually it's a good question, and it's one that we always ask is, you know, what are we, how are we secure and stuff, and we've been a target for Fisher emails all the time, phishing emails and stuff. The fact of the matter is that when we get to one of these tier 3 data centers, they have an entire cadre of people whose that's their prime function is always being vigilant. When we have our on-premise servers, they have to reach out to our on-premise servers and do their activities when time allows here and that sort of thing. So the tier 3 data centers also provide us redundancy across multiple data centers. So if there's earthquake damage or some kind of horrendous thing, we're not going to be down. We've got redundancy. So it's really a better system. It's probably something we should have moved to earlier.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
All right, moving on. The second bit of technological effort that we're going to is we're trying to replace a piece of equipment in our district that was due to be replaced last year, but due to the pandemic and all the things that were going on, it was decided it was not a good time to make that kind of changes to our system in lieu of all the other things that were going on. So we kicked the update down a year so we could look at getting that done in a less turbulent time. It's getting less turbulent, I hope. We're looking forward to that part of it. What the VM host does for us is it provides a localized version of that tier 3 data center that we were talking about for all the other things that run inside our district and are home based here. We have probably 100 servers that we've spun up on our VM hosting equipment, appliance, if you will, and it allows us to change the size of those servers, to spin up a new server to do some testing on, or delete a server that much more quickly. And when we need more immediate storage or more immediate processing power, we can adjust those dynamically as needed when we're working on those pieces of equipment. When you talk about latency, what we saw in this last year is an explosion in our email system. Everything we used to do in our classrooms suddenly had to be done some other way. And so not only were our teachers doing a lot more communication amongst themselves and with the administration and stuff like that, they were also having that kind of communication with all the students in the district. And so it was kind of a geometrical growth of our email usage in the district. This piece of equipment, due to be replaced, had we got a lot of useful life out of it, but it was time to be replaced, and we're at that point now where we're actually seeing some latency in our email. It's not the only system affected. All those 100 other servers that we have on that system are also affected, but the one that you get the most static from is when our email is not popping the way it needs to be popping, and that's where we find ourselves right now. So we're very anxious to get this project underway and get that movement made so that we can improve the speed of our system. So we are going to be releasing an RFP, and we wanted to put before the board so the board knew what was going on and weren't surprised by any of these things that were happening. That's what I'm here to talk to you about.
Director Klein Jerome.
Kevin, can ESSER dollars pay for this?
I don't believe so.
It is budgeted, and we have money in hand for it.
Come out of PEPL then, or?
PEP will save.
Okay.
Director Beck.
Oh, yeah, I think that was going to be my question. Pepple, it was Pepple money. So given the fact that we have, I mean, I realize we were already planning on replacing this. It surprises me that we can't use ESSER dollars because part of the reason we do need to replace it is this explosion in email usage. But it is what it is, I guess.
If they'll let me spend that, I will definitely spend it.
Okay. And then just ballpark, what kind of, I mean, how much is a project
I
like this?
expect the request for proposals to come in between $200,000 and $250,000.
Oh, okay, that's less than I thought it was going to be.
Director Poston.
Are you limited on a number of companies that can provide this service, or are you able to get numerous bids?
Yes, I believe we will be able to get numerous bids. I know that there have been 3 people that we've been working with on trying to figure out what the right size of the equipment we need at this point is, and we'll also be receiving some consulting from the winning bidder to help install the product and make sure that we move everything over seamlessly.
And then, do you once it's set up, do you have an allowance for additional usage or growth?
Absolutely. We always work very hard to scale our product so that we can meet all the anticipated needs in the district and a little bit of a margin.
Are there any other questions? So this is our discussion part of it. So we'll be voting on this probably at the next regular meeting, these 2 things. Is there any more information you would need to feel comfortable on voting on these things? If there is, please ask it now so Gary and his team will be able to put that stuff together for when we go to vote. Director Beck.
This may not be a question for Gary, but I did just remember hearing from someone that the legislature was potentially looking at student information system requirements.
Yes. There was a state interest in taking the entire state to a single student management system. This is, in my career, this is probably the 2nd or 3rd time this has come around.
Okay.
It didn't make it past the committees that it needed to make it past this year, so that may be in our future.
Okay. I mean, it seems like not ideal, but okay.
Some of the challenges with it is the vastly different sizes of schools that we have, and having the right piece of software to best fit those things. So that's part of what the discussion is about.
Okay. Well, as long as you're on top of it, that's fine.
Any other questions? Perfect. It looks like we'll be ready to vote on this stuff at the next meeting. Thanks, Gary.
Thank you.
The next discussion item is board policies. I will turn it over to Director Beck, the chair of the policy committee.
Okay, so we have 2 sets of policies tonight. The first set is a first discussion, meaning the policy committee has looked at them. We have decided if it's a policy that we think our board can take advantage of or needs. And we have looked at the language to determine whether we're just going to use IASB language or incorporate our own language in it. And pretty much all of these that are listed, 40206, 404, 40802, 40803, 41002, 41004, 50101, 50102, 50104, 50106, 50107, 50108, 50109, 50111, and 50112 are fairly standard policies that we already had. The only thing that we would have been changing was who was responsible for what piece of data, or who was responsible for approval of a certain item. I'd say the one that had the most significant changes, if I can remember, is the one on pregnant students. But otherwise, they're all fairly standard policies. So I'll open it up to any questions on those if you have any. And remember, we're going to discuss these again another time before we vote on them. Director Klein-Jerome?
In 404, will there be administrative regulations on the dress code then, or is it, we're just having this policy because it's not as specific as what we were currently running on, so I don't know.
This one actually, this is the employee conduct and appearance one. I'm going to hand that one over to Superintendent Schneckloth because it is under the BOEE.
Yes, that is in our employee handbook for employee dress. Is that what you're asking, Director Klein-Jerome?
Well, I mean, this policy doesn't say, you can't wear jeans or you can only wear jeans, any of that. It's very vague, so we will have.
Correct. That is
administrative
established in our
regulation that
handbook.
Spells it out more clearly.
Yep.
Okay. And I'm sure it's been in there, 40802, especially a lot of creative material probably has been developed during this COVID time and to use in your classroom. So we're saying if they created something so great, but they sold it, the district's gonna take the money? I got a problem.
I had the exact same question because as an educator, I put a lot of time into my own work, and if it's something fantastic, but this is actually very similar to policies that already exist, and I'll let Superintendent.
Sure. We had a lot of discussion around this one, but essentially if you are working for the school district and you're working with our materials, the last thing we would want is anybody to begin to make money off of those materials, off of that. So this is very specific to somebody trying to be proprietary.
Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't keep anybody from having a side gig, but it's basically, what was the example you gave me? You can't write this lesson using our textbooks and then sell it to the publisher or something like that, right?
Exactly.
Any other questions? All right. So we'll see these again with all the grammar the marked up grammar changed when we have our next discussion. So the next set is our second discussion, and we didn't end up having to change any of these from the last time we discussed them. We have 40102, 40103, 40106, 40107, 40108, 40109, and then 40202. And basically, most of these have to do with employees, conflict of interest, nepotism, and then political activity and travel compensation. And so they're pretty standard policies. We had most of these in place already. And then the only one that we spent a significant amount of time discussing was the child abuse reporting one, which we agreed was an important one. So I will open it up for discussion. Director Snyder.
Just one note on the child abuse one, in case anybody's wondering why teachers are crossed out. It's because the very first part of it says all licensed school employees. So leaving teachers in there was kind of redundant unless we go ahead then and add administrators or, anybody in the building that's licensed. I mean, all licensed school employees encompasses teachers, and that's why we removed teachers.
All right, I think that's it. We'll vote on this set next time, and then the second set, or the first set will be up for second discussion.
Thank you, Director Beck. Seeing no other discussion items, we will move on to board requests. Are there any board requests?
Board request.
Seeing none, are there any administrative?
one.
Whoa.
Mold, I can't move that.
I heard all that creaking. Board requests. Name of board member. Director Snyder, date of request 4/26/2021. Item request, agenda item. Description of request. We received data showing effects of COVID on education in relation to elementary students and literacy. I would like to see similar data for middle and high schools. I am told math appears to be the struggle at the middle school level. Why are you requesting this information or agenda item? We as a board know literacy is a priority in elementary buildings, but we don't know where we sit in our middle, intermediate, and high schools. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Director Beck. When would you like this information or agenda item? When the agenda committee can get this on the agenda and the data can be collected and reported? Any other board reports or board requests? Are there any administrative reports?
None at this time.
All right. Go on to board reflection.
Good job, Dr. Beck.
We'll start with Director Beck.
Oh, I got to start. So I think probably the two things that stuck out for me today were, of course, celebrating our students, the musicians and the dance team, and all the students who got honored today. I think that was really important, that despite COVID, our students are still accomplishing a lot. And the fact that they all were such different students. They all come from different backgrounds. They all get something different out of it, you know, and many of them were academic all-stars as well, essentially. So I thought that was really impressive. I think the other thing that really stuck out for me was that we've kind of seen this SRO memorandum come to fruition after almost a year of work, where we've worked with the city's worked with us, we've interviewed stakeholders, and we've got Dr. Klipsch and a lot of other people in the district working together to try and make the best document that we can, so that we can have confidence in our relationships with our community police. So.
Thank you. Director Poston?
Well, mine would be the exact same thing that Director Beck just stated. I think having the SRO MOU in place now, and also along with a lot of hard work with implementing CRVP, I think some of that all goes together along with PBIS, and so I'm glad to see this in place, and I think will be helpful down the road.
Thank you, Director Poston. Director Klein Jerome?
I appreciate the fact that we are offering to students 16 and older the opportunity to get the vaccine, and making it easy for them to get signed up and get it. Because as we see the people getting COVID, were not the people that were vaccinated. I also appreciate the ESSER presentation to let us know how much money is there, where it can and can't be spent, so that before we jump to, oh, can we spend it here and here, we know what's right and what's wrong to use on it.
Thank you, Director Klein Jerome. Director Potts?
I think in the name of equity, we need more programs and more curriculum with different alphabetical names. Because there are certain consonants we're missing. In addition to which, I enjoyed the All-State kids. A whole bunch of them were Sudlow kids, and I used to be taller than they were.
Thank you, Director Potts. Director Snyder?
Yeah, my two reflection was the students and their achievements in regards to music and the dance team kids. We have so many programs that our kids participate in and excel in. It's exciting to actually have them here sharing things again with us, because I do miss the showcases that we had from our schools.
Thank you, Director Snyder. Superintendent Schneckloff?
I think it's important to recognize some structures and process. First one, a discussion to allow your questions to be answered, things that come up, and then for a vote. And I think that's been established as a priority by the board. And I just want to recognize that how much better communication is when that process, when we have the opportunity to do that. And so I think that's incredibly important to recognize how that feels to board members, and it gives you the ability to make decisions.
I'm gonna have to start going before you, because that was mine. I think that I thought I got a lot of great things out of the whole meeting as a whole. I think, we're able to highlight just some of the things that our students are doing and the things that are going on in our district is amazing. As well as the presentations we're getting now, more information and things like that, and we're all able to discuss things. And at the end of the day, we're 7 different people with 7 different views on things, and we're able to, come to a common consensus and work from there. I think everything is moving in the right trajectory, and I think we're, making a lot of headway from where we were. And I think the meetings are getting better and better. I love the fact that we have some positive things, when we do have to talk about other things, that we're able to highlight, some of the things. And I think it's a good thing when we highlight things, because not only that, gives a sense of accomplishment to our students as well as our staff, that we're acknowledging the positive things that are going on, as well as the parents get to see their kids recognized, and things like that. And it's a huge thing, and I'm just glad that we're where we are, and I do appreciate all of you, and I do hope that Director Hayes feels better. And with that, I will ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
All right.
Meeting adjourned. Hang on one second, let me